And the madness of this, the church filed this on Friday, January 30th, 2009. Elder Holland spoke to the students at Harvard on the 20th of March, 2012. 3 years later. Hi everyone, Nemo here. Welcome back, and as always, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and stick around. Today, we are looking at times when Jeffrey R. Holland has lied in his capacity as an apostle. This is the second in what I believe will become a series of videos in which I shed light on the dishonesty of church leaders, who, while not always correct perhaps in their interpretation of Revelation, we would expect to at least be honest in what they say. If they aren't, it should be made known. So let's get to it. At a Harvard Q&A, when asked,
Could you elaborate on the instances in which the church will take a political stance? What immediately comes to mind is the often cited sort of material impact the church had on the passage of Proposition
Prop 8.
California.
Let's use that example.
And then also sort of how whatever that political involvement would be squared with the notion that, for instance, Americans' ability to have people exercise their beliefs freely actually led to the ability of the church to bloom in the way that it does.
Good point.
Elder Holland replied,
Institutionally, not a single dollar, not one red cent of money from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints went into Proposition 8 or any other comparable proposition that I know of. Now, a lot of Latter-day Saints got involved, and a lot of Latter-day Saints, particularly in California, donated their own time and money to do it. So I'm not being coy.
This is simply not true. It is a lie. The church filed a major donor report with the California Secretary of State listing $189,903.58 in non-momentary expenditures in the battle over Prop 8. Now, I know amounts in the region of $200,000 are small compared to the church's total wealth, but they still constitute a financial contribution which Elder Holland denied. And the madness of this, the church filed this on Friday, January 30th, 2009. Elder Holland spoke to the students at Harvard on the 20th of March, 2012. 3 years later. It was already a matter of public record that the church had donated money to Prop 8, and yet he lied about it. Now, some argue he wouldn't have known about it, but then he shouldn't have made a declarative statement. Instead, he should have said that to the best of his knowledge, or as far as he knows, the church institutionally hasn't given any money to Prop 8. This is hedging 101. This is what people do when they're unsure. They use hedging terms. His surety, combined with position he holds as an apostle in the church, and the perception from the audience that he would therefore be informed, constitutes an attempt to convey the church's lack of institutional financial contribution as the fullness of the facts. Unfortunately for him, it is very easy to prove otherwise.
We'd like to welcome and recognize Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, who is seated on the stand and will be presiding at this devotional.
We're in the midst of incredible growth, staggering growth in the church. It's the single biggest problem we have. It's the best problem we could have, but it's the biggest. We are reeling under the implications of the growth that we have in this church. Last Thursday, I've been out here this Thursday. I've been with Elder and Sister Holland and been with Elder and Sister Robbins this week. So I missed the temple meeting this Thursday, but a week ago Thursday we created 15 stakes, and we're doing that más o menos every week, more or less. It might not be 15, but it's the week before it was 12. Sometimes it's 8 or whatever, and it'll be a little uneven. But the point is, I mean, we're talking double-digit stakes every week of our lives.
This, again, is a lie. Missed in Sunday School show it beautifully. The average growth around the time Elder Holland was speaking was 1 stake per week. Now that's a far cry from...
We're talking double-digit stakes every week of our lives.
And the kicker, in the month in which he was speaking, April 2016, the church created no new stakes. He states that a week ago Thursday, that being the 14th of April 2016, they created 15 new stakes. Well, not according to the church statistics they didn't. Why would Elder Holland lie about the growth of the church when it's so easily verified? Perhaps it's the same reason that Russell M. Nelson lied at April 2021 General Conference about the effect COVID had on the growth of the church.
Thankfully, even a pandemic has not been able to slow the onward march of his truth.
It's an important narrative point in LDS theology that the restored church must grow like a stone cut from the mountain without hands that will fill the whole earth. Unfortunately, the data does not support these sorts of claims. In fact, last year, the church didn't even grow in real terms compared to population growth. Another time Elder Holland lied is in regards to the temple and whether there were penalties present at the time in which Mitt Romney took out his endowment. Spoiler alert, there were, and Elder Holland initially tries to deny it. Now, thanks to the BBC trying to demonetize any video in which that footage is shared, I won't show it to you here, but linked above me and in the description is my analysis of that fateful interview. So why does this matter? Why does it matter if the leaders of the church are dishonest? Why does it matter if they lie to us? Well, they are presented before the membership of the church for sustaining as prophets, seers, and revelators.
It is proposed that we sustain the counselors in the first presidency and the quorum of the 12 apostles as prophets, seers, and revelators. All in favor, please manifest it. Contrary, if there be any, by the same sign. Those who opposed any of the proposals should contact their stake president.
The title prophet is particularly key here because Russell M. Nelson said,
Do you know what the word prophet means? He speaks for God. And so, God won't lead you astray, and the prophet will not lead you astray.
therefore, if they speak for God, we would expect God to be honest. But okay, fine, maybe that's too high an expectation. We would then at least expect them to live up to the standard of honesty the church has set out for its members, right? Here's that standard as set out in chapter 31 of Gospel Principles. Lying is intentionally deceiving others. Bearing false witness is one form of lying. The Lord gave this commandment to the children of Israel. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Jesus also taught this when he was on earth. There are many other forms of lying. When we speak untruths, we are guilty of lying. We can also intentionally deceive others by a gesture or a look, by silence, or by telling only part of the truth. Whenever we lead people in any way to believe something that is not true, we are not being honest. The Lord is not pleased with such dishonesty, and we will have to account for our lies. Satan would have us believe it is all right to lie. He says, yea, lie a little. There is no harm in this. Satan encourages us to justify our lies to ourselves. Honest people will recognize Satan's temptations and will speak the whole truth, even if it seems to be to their disadvantage. And we have shown that Jeffrey R. Holland, on more than one occasion, has failed to meet that standard. He has failed to tell the whole truth because it seems as though it would be to the church's disadvantage if he did. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this or found it useful. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and so you don't miss anything, be sure to subscribe. Bye now.